All right, let's go ahead. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Bromsmiller. I am the community manager at Reltio. Please don't mind my voice. I've completely lost it. I'm in Vegas for a conference right now. Um, I wanted to welcome you guys to this community show, Unlocking the Potential of Reltio Customer 360 Segmentation and Activation. We are joined today by Gaurav Gira, the Director of Product Management here at Reltio, Abradeep Sengupta from the Principal Product Manager, also from Reltio, and then Austin Stone, the Director of Technical and Product Solutions from Workato. Abra, can you go to the next slide, please? And also the next slide. Thank you. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we move forward. Please remember to keep yourselves on mute during the presentation. All questions can be asked in the chat, or you can take yourself off of mute to ask. It helps if you just raise your hand if you do that. And then our community show will be recorded and posted to Reltio community probably later today. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will pass this off to Gaurav.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on Customer 360. Specifically, we're going to talk about segmentation and activation in the Reltio Customer 360 product. But now, before we jump into these details, what I want to give you an overview of what we are going to share with you on how Reltio Data Cloud enables you to build that truly trusted 360 view of the customer using the Reltio Customer 360 product, how it works, and why it has become critical in driving value for your business, right? So Abradeep will dig deep into the product. We will share some demos as well. But I'm also excited to have Austin Stone representing our partner Workato in this webinar. Workato, as you know, has been a key component of Reltio, and now it is also a key component of Reltio Customer 360. And we're going to showcase how, for example, the activation feature is achieved through Workato build solutions, right? So I'm actually excited about that partnership going forward, right? So before we jump into Reltio Customer 360 and the weeds of it, a quick refresher of Reltio Data Cloud. Reltio delivers on its mission by unifying, standardizing, and enriching your core business data, whether it's customers, products, suppliers, or locations, into trusted interoperable data and mobilizing it across the enterprises in milliseconds and sub-second, right? So Reltio Data Cloud's AI-powered data unification and management capabilities encompass entity resolution, multi-domain MDM, and Customer 360, delivering trusted data in real time with security, scalability, and agility for you to keep up with the evolving business needs, right? It's a SaaS offering, and it comes with built-in security, high availability, disaster recovery. So you have the continuous access to trusted data in real time, right? So Abradeep, next slide, please. So organizations today, use the trusted data to activate various business processes that accelerate growth, reduce risk, and minimize cost. And every organization today relies on that trusted core data, which we call, like the customers, suppliers, products, and so on, to achieve these business objectives, right? However, these are maintained in numerous different first-party applications, and there's no single view of these core data, right? So Reltio Data Cloud unifies and consolidate these master data, right? Not just that, it now operates on your interactions, transactions, and behavior data as well, consolidating all these different transactional or operational data with the core master data as well, right? Reltio, it acts as a real-time operating system, acting in the background, constantly unifying and providing clean, enriched, and trusted interoperable data that can be consumed in various different ways like to run AI ML workloads, derive insights, and or even run business critical operations. Right. So next slide, please. Abhijit. So Reltio Data Cloud is a cloud native platform that runs three distinct products, which we introduced earlier this year on the same platform to meet different customers' set of requirements, and it also intends that we meet where you are in your journey towards getting that 360 view of that core data, right? And all these products, whether it's entity resolution, the MDM, or customer 360, are all built on the same platform, which means that there is a seamless path from going from one to another. So you can start with entity resolution, move to MDM, and from MDM to customer 360, right? Um, the entity resolution product utilizes the large language model. We call it as the FERN, the Flexible Entity Resolution Network, and is used by our customers as a platform for matching and merging records with the goal of establishing a universal ID for that core data, whether they are contacts, consumers, organizations, right, that are tracked within Reltio. The MDM piece, right? It's our industry leading multi-domain MDM that continues to be our flagship product, allowing trusted unified profiles to be created for those core data. And these include capabilities around entity resolution, of course, reference data management, data quality management, and so on, right? Third is a set of advanced capabilities that have been built on top of the traditional MDM, and we have transformed that into the Customer 360 platform. Customer 360 enables you to combine information from your customers along with its interactions, transactions, and behavioral data, have some predictive intelligence derived attributes to create that rich 360 profile for you for those customers. But let me not spill all the beans here, and I would hand it over to Abradeep to kind of explore this more, how it works, and why it's so critical now. So, Abradeep, over to you.
Thanks, Gaurav. So now if we double click on Reltio Customer 360, right? This picture is probably all of you are familiar with how Reltio can work as a central data hub. And specifically, if we talk about Reltio Customer 360, how it can enhance the experience of business users and deliver values by being the central piece in the entire data management architecture and data flow. So from the left hand side, if we talk about, there are different source systems that provides this data, customer information, and then once it enters into Reltio, what Reltio Customer 360 does is there are a couple of few advanced capabilities that we have added on top of our existing platform to solve certain challenges, right? So it obviously has advanced interaction management capabilities that we will see, and those interactions basically help to drive the segmentation and activation capabilities. We'll go deep into what segmentation and why segmentation, but eventually this interaction and segmentation and activation helps Reltio Customer 360 to unify and activate and mobilize this data for the data consumers that we are seeing on the right hand side. And because of the speed, agility, and the real-time use cases, it can solve the analytical use cases as well as operational use cases where speed is the key, right? And we also have advanced AI ML capabilities through Reltio Intelligent Assistant that we called RIA. So in Customer 360, RIA can do data exploration, which is an advanced capability available only in Customer 360. Going further details, these are high level capability overview of Reltio Customer 360, as Gaurav was already talking about, right? The underlying cloud foundation is already part of our platform. So, and Reltio Customer 360 is built on those cloud foundations. So it has all the support of hyperscale clouds and the scale, real time, low latency kind of output and AI ML capabilities across different regions and zones. Now, data integration, entity resolution, data governance, these are certain capabilities which has an overlap between the MDM platform and Reltio Customer 360 application. What I specifically want to focus on this entity 360 capabilities, right? This entity 360 capabilities basically point to what I was talking about earlier. It is about managing interactions and transactions data. So when customers are having interactions with the brand through different touch points, it is absolutely necessary to have those data also unified in the central customer data hub to have a better understanding of the customer persona, right? So that is what comes additional with Reltio Customer 360. And below that, we have Reltio Intelligent Assistant data exploration capabilities that I already touched about. So the data stewards or business users can figure out data easily, and we'll see all that in demo. Whereas in regular MDM platform, we just support the exploration of help portal through RIA. And then as in our platform, Reltio Customer 360 also support different velocity packs depending on industry or vertical where you belong to. It will come pre-packaged with certain data models and match rules and survivorship rules. All that velocity pack related support that we have for MDM, it is present here in Customer 362. And right at the down bottom on the lower row is the segmentation and activation where we'll be focusing mostly today. Now, these are the key benefits or a value add or value proposition from a Reltio Customer 360 standpoint. What it basically does, it allows you to have all the advantages of the Reltio platform you have. And on top of that, it provides a ready to consume real-time 360 profiles that encompasses all the interactions and transactions. It obviously is trusted and secure. And have reusable, accessible, manageable, all those advantages that the Reltio platform provides. If I really talk about the actual advantage of having a Reltio Customer 360, it's basically not tied up to a specific business use case. You can have use cases like marketing campaign and getting more value out of your marketing campaigns, or it can be the use case of a contact center where you want to provide very hyper personalized customer service to your high value customers, right? So different use cases can be solved across different verticals using this, and what it gives you is a prepackaged box which is basically reduces the time to value and takes out a lot of complexity that you have to otherwise take care of and build on your own, right? So Reltio is doing all that heavy lifting and shifting for yourself so that you can just start loading with the data and take value and insights out of that data faster. Now, before we jump into the demo, it is little bit important to understand what is interaction, segmentation, and activation, though most of us will probably be aware of, right? So interaction is basically nothing but we have different sources and different touch points where the customer interacts with a certain brand or organization, right? And collecting this data, tying it up to the customer entity and understanding their behavior, their persona to gain insights out of this is pretty important for any customer 360 solution to solve the 9-box use cases that Gaurav was showing earlier, right? So from that perspective, interactions is or transactional data is key for improved customer experience, and that's why we decided to support advanced capabilities as part of interaction management in Customer 360. A segmentation is nothing but dividing the entire customer base into distinct groups, right? So you can have a very large customer base, but when you are executing a specific marketing campaign, you don't want to execute that marketing campaign with a broad and wide target profiles, right? That might increase the cost and reduces the effectiveness and ROI of that marketing campaign. So it is important to identify the set of profiles which is suitable and have higher chances of making the marketing campaign successful. And the Reltio Customer 360 platform today provides a capability where you can define the criteria and rule for segmentation and store those segment definitions into the platform. And eventually activation is the process, right? So if you are planning to execute a marketing campaign, if I took that example as a cue, then you need to send the profile segment members or audience members to the downstream system, the last mile activation, if we may call it, right? Where the actual marketing campaign email or the modification of websites will be done based on the customer persona and the segment, right? So this is what we call activation. So segmentation is defining the rules, and then activation is basically picking up and identifying profiles from the Reltio database and share that with a downstream application to take action on it. Uh, Now, what is the advantage and what are you doing with customer data segments? So obviously, these are like dynamic audience segments that will be activated in real time using RIH powered recipes. So once you, and we'll see that in demo, once you register those activation recipes or activation connectors, whatever you may call, then it basically shares the audience of the segments in real time with the downstream systems. And then uh, the any update with the customer profile or their transactional data or interaction data will basically help and activate the data points through these activation channels, right? Let's jump into the demo. And though we are talking more about the activation and segmentation today, I want to show some of the capabilities that we have distinctly in Customer 360. So this is where let's assume I am part of the marketing team of Fresh Fits, which is a retailer of fashion apparels in US, and I'm here to execute a marketing campaign, right? But before that, I want to explore some of the data, and this is the landing page of Reltio, and I log in here and I want to understand, right, my data set. So I don't have to know a lot of detail about it. I can just interact in plain normal language and it starts showing up results here, right? So if I write, show me a list of profiles whose unsent channel type is email, right? So this is what it is supposed to give me the results from the data set, right? But often a time if my prompts are not correct, right, it will also give me some context that what I'm trying to do and why it is unable to figure out the results. Uh, and what I can also see here that I have list of previous prompts, right? And if I go in here, I'll see that the list of profiles that it shows up here in the consent. Like if I give channel consent type is equal to email, this is what the correct prompt shows up. And I can have look at this data, or I can also tell that show me list of individuals living in New York, right? And then it is supposed to give me a limited list of individuals in staying in New York. And not only that, I can look at these profiles or I can take further action on it, right? I can say export the above list of profiles in the prompt, and then it is giving me a export link where I can click on that and it starts showing up the export functionality that we all are aware of. Now, here, if I look at these profiles, and when I'm looking at these profiles, I understand that I don't have certain interactions loaded into the tenant, which I need to execute my campaign, right? And if I have right set of access, then I can load the data myself, or I can reach out to someone who can help, right? And what we have also done is we have added the loading interaction data capability inside the data loader, right? So it is very easy to use interface into the data loader where you have the option to see interactions here. And I can check, sorry, I have to log in again. . So what it basically allows you to have the way we load entities and relationships in through data loader. It gives me an option to have a data file. Right now we support CSV files, and then load existing CSV files through the interaction types defined in the data model. Let me try to open that once more. Okay, it is here. So I can click on load data, click on interactions, and then have service request here, and then have a file here. Then I have service request data here, and then I can just few clicks and the data will get loaded. This is obviously a demo file. I have a mapping already created where I have one record just to showcase the capability, and I can continue to load data, right? So now once the data is loaded, I can go here and I know like the data that I had was of a particular profile. So I can go to this particular profile and go to interactions tab, and I can see that I have loaded interactions here, right? And I can see all the details of the interactions. This is the interaction perspective and what happened there, what is the date, what is the description, what is the severity of the service request and all that, right? So now I am okay. I have enough data to create my segment and execute my marketing campaign. So I'll go back to the segmentation section, right? So this is another new thing that we have added in Customer 360. On the left navigation pane, you have a new segmentation area where you can click on this, and then you will see all the predefined, not predefined, all the list of segments that users have created, right? And I can look at the list of segments and decide, okay, none of these solve my purpose, so I need to create something new, right? So I can click on this create segment, and it asks me, okay, what entity type you want to create the segment on. So here it is by default, it is showing location, and on the right hand side I have sample profiles, right, where it shows all the sample list of locations. I'm here to create a segmentation on individual records, right? So I select individual from the entity type, and in real time the sample profiles change on the right hand side to show me the individual profiles present in the tenant. Now I can further narrow down the selection criteria and define the segmentation rules. Here I have clicked here, and then there are list of entity attributes which I have configured to show up as a segmentation criteria. I can use those as a filter here, right? So I can click on individual role, and then I can click on prospect, right? So I'm trying to target the prospect customers here. And also what I'm trying to do is that consent channel type that I was trying to show earlier in the prompt as email, right? And then as you can see in real time, the right hand side, the records are getting filtered to showcase what are the profiles that meet this criteria. Now, not only this, but I needed some interaction data also, right? So let's take generic interactions as a interaction data, and I click on interaction date, because what I want to do is I want to target certain segment of prospects who have interacted with my brand in last 6 months, right? So I have a list of operands here. I can click within, and then I can click last 6 months. So I'm basically asking the system to create a segment where it is a individual is a prospect, have given me an email campaign consent kind of a thing, and interacted with us in last 6 months. Now the other advantage of having the sample profiles here is that I can click on one of these samples, and then it opens up in the new tab, right? And I can validate those profiles, right? I can look at the, like this one, right, Rider Hull. I can look at this at profile. I can look at entity attributes, whether it's a prospect type, whether it's a given email consent, and what kind of interactions it has, and all that stuff, and be confident about my selection criteria, right? So once I'm confident and comfortable about my criteria being finalized, and I can see the more of a normal query here, at the bottom, I can go ahead and save this, right? I can save it as something name as and I can have some description, and then I can make it public, right? And then I can click on save. So what it does is basically saves the definition of this segment, right? And you have few options here where you can obviously manage or edit the segment. You can click on description, add description, change name, or change the overall selection criteria of the segment, right? What you can also do is you can export the data. This is the normal export or that is present in the Reltio platform today. And what we have added new here is the activate option, right? So this activate option is basically powered by Reltio Integration Hub to send the audience members. And that's when I click on this activate button, and we'll see it later, that's when it basically executes the rules and start picking up profiles from the Reltio and sends it across to the downstream systems like HubSpot or Marketo or things like that. With that, I will go back to the presentation and hand it over to Austin to take us through some of the activation capabilities built through RIH.
Thank you, Abriti. Gaurav, did you have anything on this slide, or can we go to the next one? Or Abriti? Okay, great. Well, thank you, Abriti. That was fantastic to see. And obviously, since these updates have come out with Reltio, they've been quite exciting with that segmentation product. Now, after you have created these segments inside of Reltio, most marketing teams are faced with a little bit of a challenge, right? It's okay, we've got these segments, they're incredibly explicit, we know we need to act on them, but acting on them has typically been very manual, right? Processes can sometimes become fragmented, especially when it's involving external systems, right? This data can't necessarily be acted on Reltio directly, like from a Marketo or a HubSpot, for example. They're very specific tools that handle that. How do you get it over there? Typically, people have manually pushed that over there, whether it's a file upload, something else. And ultimately, especially with file uploads, you start to, dip into the realm of data insecurity, right? No one likes files floating around on employees' laptops, especially when they're not able to track what is happening. And ultimately, in order to solve these challenges, you need something that is going to unify and give you that full 360 view of your data. Obviously, we've got Reltio for that. You've seen some of their Gen AI-driven capabilities and the user experience to really help with that unification. And then once you have got these segments in the place you need to activate them. You need to mobilize that data, as they were talking about. And not only do you need to mobilize it and help make sure that process is seamless, it's got to be repeatable. So all of these things need to be sequenced and orchestrated in the right manner so that your business critical workflows, your business critical data is not just sitting somewhere unused. And next slide, please. That's kind of a lot of the basis behind the Reltio and Workato partnership. Now, as I'm sure you've all heard, there is Reltio Integration Hub. That is something that Workato helps power. But on the other side of that coin, Workato itself is a fully fledged integration and iPaaS platform. So we were founded in 2013 by ex-leaders from TIBCO, Oracle, Splunk, and others. And these leaders saw the potential of integration platforms to be much more than the ESBs, enterprise service buses of the time, and really take it to another level. They saw integration and automation as two sides of the same coin. And the goal was to say, okay, great. Not only do we want to make it easy to connect these systems together, they want it to be really efficient to orchestrate the data and the processes between the systems as well. So fast forward today, we've got over 12,000 customers. We've been a 6-year Gartner MQ leader. You can see all these logos up here like it's the side of an F1 car. So I won't really bug too much on this one, but wanted to give a quick little background on Workato there. Next slide, please. Fantastic. Seamless movement of data, right? You see all of these arrows left and right here. Mobilized data is critical for business velocity and is one of the primary foundations of the Reltio Workato partnership. Reltio really needed a partner who was designed with the same scale, security, and power principles that make Reltio the absolute powerhouse that it is. And in the past, when you've been trying to get data from the Adobes, Oracles, et cetera, into Reltio or a tool like Reltio and then back out, you've typically had to choose between two things, speed or power. Do I want my data in there really quickly and I just want it in and I don't care what happens to it? Or it's like, do I want to pump the brakes here, do a little bit, you know, make sure it's getting me all of my different transformations, combinations, unifications. Well, that's not really a word, unifications. I really meant enrichment there. Before we start to do things with it, right? And typically it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to write code. I'm going to have to get developers. I'm going to have to get incredibly expensive teams together to move all of this stuff about. And quite frankly, that just gets rid of all of that speed and power for your mobilized data. So with Workato and Reltio Integration Hub recipes, Reltio customers now don't have to sacrifice speed or power. They can have both in getting this data into Reltio so they can do their red cleansing, do their enrichment, and ultimately in real time activate this data and make sure it's in its complete form into their other tools to be acted upon by the rest of the business. So what is a Workato or a Reltio Integration Hub recipe? You might ask. Well, next slide, please. Ultimately, these recipes are our automations. They help us connect these different tools together by sequencing different actions that help us push and pull data between these systems, introducing also advanced logic capabilities to ensure that no matter where this data is going, it's in the correct shape. It can go to multiple different places at any time you need. And if you ever need to change one of these lines you're seeing on the screen, that change can be done quickly and efficiently. So I'm going to have Abradeep go ahead and share his screen again, and we're going to walk through what the user experience for activation looks like, take a quick look at a Reltio Integration Hub recipe, and then we will pop back out for a little bit of a Q&A. Fantastic. So you can see we're here back in the C360 tool. You can see we've got all of these segments. Okay, well, again, traditionally we've had to say, oh, I need to like pull this data. I need to turn it into a file. I need to go do all of these other things. Nope, not anymore. You can see he's hovering over what looks like that pretty cool paper airplane over there on the right. It says activate. Go ahead and click that already. Awesome. So what we've designed these activations to do is give you any list, not any list, a wide variety of different applications to start sending your data to. You can see here we've got HubSpot as our example. Go ahead and click HubSpot and start syncing. So what this now does is in the background is it's taking your segments, pulling all of that unified and enriched data and moving it seamlessly over to lists in HubSpot without you having to take any more additional steps. Eventually, what you'll be able to do is just jump into HubSpot and bam, there they are. That is like the most basic version of this workflow. Ultimately, you can also utilize other actions within Reltio Integration Hub and Workato to do even more once that data is inside of HubSpot. So, oh, see there, we've got email prospects, December 4, list size. Go ahead and click in there. Let's see if we've got any coming in. Well, the magic of data. Well, and also demoing live on a webinar too. I hope some of you are giggling. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at these Reltio Integration Hub recipes in the meantime, Abradeep, while we wait for the data to move over. Again, recipes are incredibly powerful things while also being very easy to manipulate and edit. So when you're inside of a recipe, you're able to quickly and efficiently change when things happen, how they happen, and where you're pulling all of this data from. So yeah, if you don't mind just clicking activation system for me, Abradeep. Perfect. Go ahead and click process for me. Check that folder right there underneath. Perfect. And then click that right there. Awesome. So inside of Reltio Integration Hub, you're able to, if you click that recipe tab just underneath the purple icon in the top left, again, you're able to very efficiently sequence a large variety of different steps, again, to move your data. Now, moving these actions up and down, left and right is very simple. It's as easy as dragging and dropping. We have advanced error handling capabilities that, again, help you seamlessly and dynamically handle anything that might happen in these recipes, whether it's notifying something, retrying. You can make any sort of API call you want within the Reltio system. And of course, you have our library of over 1,000 pre-built different application connectors that you can drag and drop as you please. There's no limit to the number of connections you can have within a recipe. Let's go back over to HubSpot and see if those leads came in. If they haven't, that's okay. Let's give it a refresh. Well, if it was the same list we activated on, what it's going to do is actually update these. That's okay, not a big deal. We all know the data moved there. They got there this morning. That's how this list was populated. You saw it was December 4th, but you know, again, the magic of the demo live on a webinar happens sometimes. Thank you, Aubrey. If you don't mind going back to the slide for us. Okay, great. Next. Now, just pulling it back, right? Again, a big part of this is orchestration. You've probably heard me say that a few times. And while we are helping move data, there's actually quite a bit more to the overall Workato platform. We have a very comprehensive set of tools that equip data teams with the ability to rapidly build these data pipelines that, again, if you remember those arrows, they help you move left to right through Reltio. And what's more is, and what's also not necessarily, you know, conceptually easy to see is we can help you move up and down across those systems too. There's going to be things that you need between Oracle and SFDC, for example. You might need to move something through your project management tool and your ERP. You know, data is just moving everywhere all the time. And rather than keeping those in separate tools and doing it in a very disparate function, Workato provides you everything you need to manage it in a single language and in a single spot. Really cuts down on the resources necessary to continue to support these more complex and advanced orchestration workflows that all businesses rely on. So again, because all of these things are in a single platform, it really empowers data teams to do more with their data without heavily leaning on IT and other advanced resources to move some of these things. Next slide, please. So that's all I have really on Workato and data orchestration today. I didn't want to take up too much time, but if you want to have a little bit of a deeper dive into the platform, maybe play around with the recipe, see some data moving here and there, go ahead and scan that QR code. We're happy to set up some time to talk. And obviously, if you're already a Workato customer, please reach out to your team with any questions you might have. And that's it for me.
Sarah, do you want to talk about this slides or you want
Sorry,
to
I
open
was
it up?
joining. I'm just sorry about that. Yeah, please. We continue to have these community events regularly. Our next show, it will be on December 18th on Power of Reltio Enrichment with D and B data blocks. So hopefully you will be able to join us again. Again, sorry for my voice. Thank you, everybody. Does anyone have any questions? Great. Reminder that Data Driven will be occurring in February. We hope you'll also be able to join us in person, and I hope to see you all soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.